Let's examine how we can insulate skeleton frame buildings with basements. We can start with this type of basement where the water table is way below the foundation level, and we used a slab on grade for the basement floor. For this type of foundation, we can use again waterproofing admixture to protect all the reinforced concrete components, the footings, the shear walls, ground floor, and the grade beams, and we can make them waterproof. Also, we can use waterproofing admixture for the slab on grade here, and for the joint between the slab on grade and the reinforced concrete footing, we should prefer plastic water stop profile again with bitumen mortar in order to prevent the water leakage through this joint here. And for the heat insulation, we can use again XPS boards, but we don't have to cover the shear walls way down to the footing. We can just cover them to the frost line, and if we are in Istanbul, it's just 80 centimeters from the surface of the soil. So we have the excavation, and we can have one-way continuous footings or two-way continuous footings or single path footings. In this example, we have one-way continuous footings, reinforced concrete with reinforced concrete tie beams. We put waterproofing admixture in them, so we made them waterproof. And after that, we have shear walls and columns, foundation columns here, again produced with waterproofing admixture. We can fill the gap between these footings and tie beams with earth. After that, we put gravel, and we put a waterproofing admixture slab on grade for the basement floor. We need to put waterproofing water stop profile through these joints, all the connections here, and bitumen mortar. After that, we put we produce the waterproofed grade beams with reinforced concrete together, and we need to cover the four sides of the shear walls in the outside with XPS profile boards against heat transfer to the frost line. So this is our insulation. And for this type of foundation, where the water table is higher than the footing level, we used a reinforced concrete raft slab, and we cannot prefer waterproofing admixture here, because even if we put the waterproofing admixture and made all these reinforced concrete components waterproof, there could be some settlement or small earthquakes which causes some cracks through these shear walls or raft slab, and even if the components are waterproof, there can be water leakage through these cracks because the water table is way higher than the footing level, and there is this water pressure. So we need to use waterproofing membranes or sheets. And from the last week, we remember that there are two types of sheets. One of them is bitumen, and this is way more stronger than the plastic sheets. These are manufactured by running refined bitumen on to or with hessian fiber or mineral fiber bases into sheets of different thicknesses and qualities. This base works as reinforced to the soft bitumen layers to make the sheets more stable against tensile stress. to increase the performance of the bitumen layers, we can have some chemical interventions. These are this becomes the modified bitumen, and there are two types. One is the oxidized bitumen, which is made by blowing the molded bitumen with high temperature air, and polymer bitumen, which is obtained by mixing the bitumen with thermoplastic resins. According to the thermoplastic resins, there are two different polymer modified bitumen sheets. One is the plastomeric, including the APP, atactic polypropylene additives, or we can have elastomeric bitumen modified polymer modified bitumen sheets, which contains SBS, it's styrene butadiene. We use plastomeric polymer modified bitumen sheets in hot climates, and we prefer elastomeric polymer modified bitumen sheets in cold climates. But we cannot just put the bitumen sheets on rough surface of concrete. There are some needle-like points due to the aggregates we use in the concrete. If we do that, we can just puncture the waterproofing membrane. So we need to have first a leveling concrete, a smooth surface, and then we put an undercoat. This is the liquid bitumen, and we apply 2 layers of bitumen sheets on each other. We apply the first layer by welding torch, which melts this bitumen and this bitumen here, and makes them very strong adhere to the surface, and then we apply the second layer of bitumen membrane, and after that we can use a separation layer. This can be again the polyethylene film over this waterproofing membrane, and we need to protect them if the workers are working on it, and if the construction is going on. We can just have a protection screen over them. So let's examine this building, this one-story reinforced concrete skeleton frame building with a basement. First of all, in order to do this construction, we need to have an excavation deep enough for the basement, and after that we can just put a concrete pool just 10 centimeter thick, and we can have a leveling concrete inside this pool, and cover the waterproofing membranes over this leveling concrete, like in the picture. So we have the earth, and then this 10 centimeter thick concrete pool with leveling concrete, and undercoat the liquid bitumen. After that we have polymer modified elastomeric bitumen waterproofing membrane, 2 layers of 4 millimeters here, and we have an polyethylene film, this separation layer, and we need to protect all these system with protection screen. After that we can do our reinforced concrete work with raft slab and shear walls, and ground floor level with grate beams here. We don't have to put waterproofing admixture inside this concrete mix, but we can just cover all the sides of the shear walls with waterproofing membranes here, but first we have to apply a leveling screed here on the surface of all shear walls. After that we put undercoat. We apply undercoat the liquid bitumen with brushes, and we can just adhere the waterproofing membrane like we did before. It's 2 layers of 4 millimeter. and we need to protect this waterproofing membrane. We can just use these drainage mats, or we can use XPS boards. These XPS boards are applied to the foundation level because these are first of all protecting the heat losses, and in the second function, for the second function of these boards, they are protecting the waterproofing membrane here.